Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Friday, November 17th edition of Main Street TV. And yes, we got a little bit of a change of plans for our Friday show. We had planned ahead of time to do news, as we often do at the end of the week. However, our wonderful host, Jennifer Ratcliffe, unable to be here today. We hope that she'll be back on Monday, and so we had to improvise quickly. You have to do that on TV and in the news realm. And so I'm sitting in Jennifer's chair. I am, of course, editor Pete Wilson of the Telegram, and also on the total media staff, working with the radio and the TV news as well. And with me today is Red Thompson Jr. Red is going to do some heavy lifting today. He's going to be here for the entire hour. He's going to help me get through my news stack, and then after that, Red will come on and talk about some of the things that he has been covering, especially there in Vinton County. As Red, of course, with experience going back to Vinton County 30-some years. So he will talk about some of the things that he has been covering and that you'll be seeing or have already seen in the Telegram. Really a lot to report as we head into the middle of November and head closer to that Thanksgiving holiday. And believe it or not, that is next week. The fourth Thursday is November the 23rd, and we will have to say that even though we're in kind of transition on the sports seasons between football and basketball on the news side, we have stayed very, very busy. And of course, on the sports side, all the football games are over locally, but we are already getting ready for the winter sports season, which of course includes both boys and girls basketball. Red and the sports staff will be working on a preview that the Telegram has done for years, and we'll be doing it again. You can look for that edition as part of next Saturday's paper, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. But let's get right into the news now, and of course, behind the scenes, handling the technical part and coordinating it all. Got a tough job. Is of course our own Dylan Euler. Dylan will be joining Red a little bit later in the program when Red talks about the Vinton County news. But we're going to start off with a positive news story. A small town, it's a mix of good stuff and bad stuff. And we're going to start off with a very good thing. And this was the result of an incident that occurred at Westview Elementary School here in Jackson. And it involved a young 6-year-old student there at Westview named Addie Tilley. And back on October the 24th, there was an incident during the lunch period where she started to choke on food. And in case you don't know, choking on food, very dangerous. The American Academy of Pediatrics says that choking is the leading cause of injury and death among children. And so this was very serious when Addie started to choke there at Westview Elementary School over the lunch period. She was over at a trash can emptying her tray when she started to choke. And of course, potentially a life-saving act was done by an aide by the name of Vidalia Mercer. Vidalia Mercer did what is called the Heimlich maneuver, where you're usually behind the person who is choking, and you put force on the chest from behind, and this usually dislodges the item of food or whatever it is that you might be choking on. It doesn't have to necessarily be food, and it was successful. So Addie, perhaps this act saved Addie's life by Vidalia Mercer. Well, this, of course, was worth celebrating. And at the last Tuesday's meeting of the Jackson City Board of Education, the board and the school officials recognized Vidalia Mercer for saving Addie's life. Addie was there as well. Addie's mother was there. I believe Addie's grandmother was there. And so this was a very, very warm moment. You're looking at one of the pictures where Vidalia was presented with Addie with a big sign. She also got a couple bouquets of flowers as well. There you see it right there. There are the two together, Vidalia on the left and, of course, Addie there on the right. And just a real heartwarming thing, and really a real life lesson that it really pays to know things like CPR, knowing how to do the Heimlich maneuver, knowing how to properly and quickly and effectively react when you have a potential where you have an emergency where somebody's life could conceivably be on the line. And it was agreed that Vidalia very well may have saved Addie's life. Now, Jeremiah Shaver covered the Tuesday evening Jackson City Board of Education meeting, and he has written a story that we're going to put on the front page of the paper on Saturday because it's such a great thing that happened there, and it's a lesson for everybody who works in a public setting or even at a private office or any place where there's people. Even inside the home, you need to know what to do if you have a choking situation. And Superintendent Phil Howard, we reached out to him, Jeremiah did, and he was willing to allow the Telegram to get the surveillance video that showed the actual incident when it occurred. We have that posted on our website and on our Facebook. And I tell you what, we just put it on there yesterday, and it has just exploded with over 40,000 views in a very short time. And that shows that people heard about it. They wanted to actually see how it happened. And, this was a little bit after the fact that we posted the video, but it still received quite a response. And Dylan, if you can tee that up now, we will actually show that here on Main Street TV. Once again, this was not staged or produced in any way. This is the actual video surveillance of when that incident occurred.
A second, and I'll try and get it going.
All right.
That was great from Jeremiah and the Jackson City schools to give us that. A lot of schools wouldn't do that, but I think it shows the level of trust in us that we'll show it responsibly, and we appreciate them doing that. It's a wonderful thing to save someone's life, and it's something you never forget, Pete.
Well, absolutely not. And there's two things. First of all, celebrating and recognizing the incident and the positive end of it. But just as important is the lesson learned from it, that, the people at the schools and even just students, you need to learn how to do these things because, you may be the only person around when somebody chokes, or if somebody is having some kind of medical issue, like a heart attack or whatever. There are people that are trained. There's professionals like the EMS and people at the emergency room. But sometimes, you don't have that luxury of time to be able to get the person who is experiencing a life-threatening situation to actually get that treatment or that response that is necessary to save them. So, once again, the Heimlich maneuver, I've seen it done. I'm not sure that I could do it if I had to. I've seen it done, but, I'm not trained in that. But especially if you're in a situation where you're around a lot of people, you work in a situation like that, you don't have to have medical training to be able to do something like that. Looks like you might have it there, Dylan. Okay, once again, there's the spotlight isn't on Addie here. This is on the whole lunchroom, but this is the actual video of when this happened. How long of a video is it there, Dylan?
About a minute.
About a minute. So just watch carefully, and you can see it happening.
I think I might have missed it. Did you guys see it?
Actually, I'm not exactly sure where it occurred, but it is on there. I didn't have the opportunity to see it firsthand and get an explanation. That's something I wish I could say I know, so we could point that out to our TV audience, but this does show the actual incident. You just have to look carefully and know where to look.
Oh, I think I see them. Wait, no, never mind.
It happened where a trash can was, but you can see there's different staff members moving around with a trash can, to be picking up the trays that the kids are finished with after lunch. But anyway, this video is placed. If you
Jeremiah said it was in the back of the room.
It was in the back of the room. Okay, all right. So if you want to watch that video again, it is posted on our Telegram Facebook page. I guess Dylan, you could also post it on the Main Street page later as well. But it is on our Telegram Facebook page. It may well be on Jeremiah Shaver's Telegram News Facebook page. A lot of the videos are also posted there, particularly the ones that he initiates. But you can look at it again and look towards. I know it's an interesting thing to see. It's a learning thing. It apparently is in the back of that scene that you're looking, because that surveillance is of the whole lunchroom, but it is in the back. If you want to focus in on that, and you can probably see where that is occurring. All right, so that will be, of course, one of the main stories in the Telegram, and you hear about this sometimes on the big TV news or the regional TV news. Well, this happened right here in Jackson, and Vidalia Mercer, I think I'm saying her name right, is certainly a real hometown hero, and Addie Tilley and her family, are just so thankful, and they were able to recognize Vidalia and the school.
I see it now. It's in the far back where those people are running around by the door.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can see a staff member there by the door and wastebasket. And you can see a little girl. You can see a couple staff members around the little girl there, which that must be Addie. So all the way in the back where you can see that brown door with some Thanksgiving or fall decorations on the door. So, all right. Okay. But anyway, certainly a very positive story here. We're always telling you here on Main Street TV when we do the news about stuff from the crime front. And we have a couple of those stories to tell you that are very interesting. There's one that occurred yesterday that involved two counties, both Jackson County and Pike County. And it started out about 11:12 a.m., involved the Jackson Police Department and also the State Highway Patrol. But there was the report of a pickup truck that was driving recklessly in the Marathon convenience store lot on Twin Oaks Drive. That would be across the highway from the Holzer Medical Center, Jackson. Well, a trooper was the first to arrive on the scene, and the trooper tried to pull over the Dodge Ram pickup truck, but instead the truck fled, went on to State Route 32, and a pursuit ensued. And it was a long pursuit. It went all the way out of Jackson County west into Pike County. And along the way, according to the patrol report that we just received this morning, this pickup truck was even driving part of the time in the eastbound lanes, the wrong direction. So, you have an opportunity there, or the potential there for, a head-on collision that would have been probably bad for all the parties involved. But the patrol tried in different ways to try to get this driver to stop. There was contact between vehicles. There was stop sticks, but nothing worked at first. Well, anyway, this pickup truck ended up pulling onto Smoky Hollow Road, which is well into Pike County, after they went out of Jackson County. And it pulled onto Smoky Hollow Road, and apparently for a reason. This gentleman knows somebody, I think a relative that lives on Smoky Hollow Road, and he drove into the woods off the road on Smoky Hollow Road, back onto Smoky Hollow Road, and then stopped at a residence, the residence of, I believe the name is David Lansing on Smoky Hollow Road. Well, the suspect who was driving this car was later, or this pickup truck was later identified as Dakota Lansing, age 36 of Piketon. A barricade situation occurred, and there is Dakota Lansing right now. That is the mug shot, the inmate shot from the Jackson County Correctional Facility, where he was later taken after he was taken into custody. But at one point before he was barricaded, there was contact between, at least one of the highway patrol vehicles and the pickup truck that he was driving. And shots were fired from the trooper side towards Lansing. Now, Lansing was not apparently shot. The troopers were not shot either. But, there was obviously damage to vehicles. And then they had this standoff where Lansing was inside the house there on Smoky Hollow Road. Well, they were able to eventually get him out of there without incident. There was no more, no more problems once they were able to get him out of there. But this was headed up by the Pike County Sheriffs and the Southern Ohio Major Crimes Task Force. It got to be involved, a major law enforcement presence there once he went into this home and would not come out on Smoky Hollow Road. Anyway, once he was arrested, according to the initial report from the patrol, he will face a charge of felonious assault on a police officer, and that is a first-degree felony. Also, failure to comply with the order or signal of a police officer. That is because he did not stop when the troopers tried to get him to stop as the pursuit, just before the pursuit began, and then after the pursuit began. He would not pull over. He was treated at a local hospital. He did receive apparently some minor injury. However, he was cleared from the emergency room there and ended up being booked into the Jackson County Correctional Facility. We're still tracking some of the information from the Jackson County side that we might be able to incorporate into our report. But the bottom line is this happened during the midday period yesterday, and it started out with a pursuit from the Marathon service station on Twin Oaks Road, went all the way through Jackson County on 32 into Pike County, ended up with a standoff situation at a rural residence in Pike County on Smoky Hollow Road. We're going to be posting that information and getting that into Saturday's edition of the paper. I've got a little bit more legwork to do on that. There was some other incidents in Pike County that day that some folks may have heard about here in Jackson County. It was a wild day for Pike County law enforcement. They not only had this incident that we told you about, but there was a couple other incidences. They had a situation that started in Piketon at Richie's Restaurant, where a call came into the sheriff's office that a vehicle had been stolen there from the parking lot at Richie's Restaurant. and there was a pursuit involved there too into Waverly on US 23. The person who was driving the stolen 2006 model Saturn drove into the lot at the Valero gas station in Waverly, and a robbery allegedly occurred there. Don't have any details on that, but it was supposedly done by a suspect who fit the description of the person who stole the car from Richie's Restaurant. From Valero, of course, they're after this. They're after this suspect, and they saw that vehicle that was stolen from Richie's Restaurant in the lot of Rural King at Waverly. Well, before they could detain the suspect, he got back into that Saturn and then drove off from there, and the pursuit continued. And it was on 2nd Street in Waverly. That's a residential street, and then it went on to Depot Road, where the suspect crashed the Saturn and was taken into custody without incident. That gentleman who was the suspect has been identified as 24-year-old Zachary Boone of Cardington, Ohio. And so that's what we know about that. But that was supposedly a stolen vehicle, a theft at a service station, and then a pursuit, and also a robbery. So once again, pretty wild. At the same time that they were having the incident with Zachary Boone, and this was apparently before the incident that involved Jackson County and Pike County with Dakota Lansing, there was an incident at the Pike County Walmart that is there in Waverly. And somehow a 2-year-old child got into his mother's purse and was able to discharge a firearm in the store. The gun actually went off in the store, fired by a 2-year-old. There was no serious injuries were reported. Maybe there were minor injuries, but the Waverly Police Department is investigating this incident further. There could be possible charges against the mother as a result of this incident. So all that in Pike County yesterday. All right, then we have a crime story out of Vinton County that is very interesting as well. This story comes from the Vinton County Sheriff's Department, and we got this information on Wednesday. We thank them for passing along the report to us. But it was very interesting. It involved alleged child pornography with the suspect being a young Hamden area man. But how the arrest occurred is certainly part of the story. The sheriff's office in Vinton County was informed on Wednesday that a group called Predator Poachers, which is out of Houston, Texas, was at the scene of a Hamden residence where they were confronting a 25-year-old man who lived there. His name was Mark Vickers, Jr., with incriminating information and evidence that he had been guilty of having child pornography images, and also was allegedly attempting to solicit a 13-year-old minor girl. But there wasn't really no 13-year-old minor girl. This vigilante outfit, which is private, not law enforcement, but private, but nationally known, called Predator Poachers, it had posed as this 13-year-old girl and had communication with this Mark Vickers Jr. of Hamden. So part of what this Predator Poachers does, it's very interesting. They do this thing electronically where, they basically have communication with people who are trying to do bad things, but through the computer, try to make a connection to maybe do child sex or child pornography at least. And then they follow up by actually going to the resident and confronting the person with the evidence, kind of like a gotcha thing. Well, once they did this with Mark Vickers, they contacted the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, which, of course, they have the law enforcement jurisdiction. This Predator Poachers does not, even though they may have done some law enforcement legwork. So the Vinton County Sheriff's Office went to this residence, and it actually was back on Sunday, November the 12th. This information was released on Wednesday, but the confrontation, the arrest, occurred on Sunday. So they went to the home, the deputies did, of this Mark Vickers Jr., and they learned from predator poachers that it had had conversations between their account and Vickers, in which Vickers had sent naked photographs and was trying to obtain naked photographs from this fake account. There is Mark Vickers Jr. That was a picture that was released by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office. Anyway, Vickers believed, according to predator poachers, that he was making connections with a 13-year-old female. Furthermore, predator poachers stated that the suspect's residence, which is on State Route 93 in or near Hamden, that they had video recorded their confrontation with him where they confronted him with their evidence. Well, the deputies, after they responded to Vickers' residence, they discovered that Vickers had confessed to having numerous photographs and videos containing child pornography on his cell phone. The electronic devices were seized by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and will be sent to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation for analysis. According to the Sheriff's Office in Vinton County, Vickers was arrested and transported to the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail. That case remains under investigation. When I checked the website on Thursday, no charges were showing up, at least on the jail website. So we're not sure what the charges are or if charges have been filed, but he was arrested and taken into custody. That story will also be included in our Saturday edition of the Telegram. We already have a story online on that if you want to check it out. All right, well, last evening I was at the Wellston City Council meeting, and there was some very positive news that was released by Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner, especially if you're a resident who lives along New York Avenue or West Broadway Street in Wellston, or if you're a local person or a person not even from Wellston who happens to travel on those streets. People who do know very well that there has been a major work projects on both of those streets where they are doing water line work and sewer line work. It has been a multi-million-dollar project that's been going on for a long time. It's been very disruptive, a lot of digging, excavation, tearing up the street, tearing up some properties along the street to get this work done. That's going to be very important. It will greatly, of course, improve the infrastructure there in along those streets. But the good news was that work is about done, and the last thing that needed to be done, and they were hoping to get this done before winter set in, and that is paving those streets that were tore up. So last night at the council meeting, Mayor Brenner was able to announce that the paving work had already begun on West Broadway, and that the final coat of asphalt would be put on today, Friday, and then they would go over and do the same thing on New York Avenue. So very good news on two fronts, that a major infrastructure improvement project is almost done in the city of Wellston, and that the streets will be much smoother as a result. All right, another story that we want to tell you about is this came from the Highway Patrol, and people who travel on U.S. Route 35 between Jackson and Chillicothe, if you happen to be on that highway late on Tuesday, this was a factor. This was actually on the Ross County side of the Jackson County line at an intersection called Elam Road. This occurred about 7:15 p.m., and a lot of folks in Jackson County who were on the Nixle alerts heard about this, and they probably wondered what happened. Well, here's what happened. On US 35 and Elam Road, James Ramey, age 43, of Waverly, was driving a 2016 model Dodge Ram pickup truck eastbound on 35. He tried to turn left onto Elam Road, and when he did, he lost control and overturned. Now, he suffered minor injuries in that one vehicle crash, and a passenger in his vehicle, 30-year-old Emily Baxter of Chillicothe, also suffered minor injuries, and she and he were both taken to the Adena Regional Medical Center in Chillicothe. As a result of that crash on Tuesday evening, Both westbound lanes of U.S. Route 35 were shut down for about 30 minutes while the scene was cleared and the crash was investigated. That, once again, occurred at US 35 and Elam Road, which is just, I think, within a mile of the Jackson-Ross County line, and that affected the westbound lane. So if you were heading towards Chillicothe, on Tuesday evening, you got delayed, and that's what happened.
And Pete, before you go on, US 35 is basically our local interstate. There's so much traffic on it now. It's not only a regional road anymore. It's part of a system between basically Indiana and Charlotte, North Carolina. So it is a big through road, and you just got to be careful out on 35. There's just a lot of traffic. The last time I checked, there was 36,000 vehicles a day.
Wow.
Around 35.
Well, that is. And we're lucky here in Jackson County that we have some intersecting highways. It's good for transportation, convenient for transportation. Also sets you up for, commercial and economic development as well when you have that. But 35, definitely, you're right, Red, very busy. And unless you're a local, if 35 is shut down or delayed, it's very inconvenient, especially for who are driving, through the state or whatever. There isn't much other options if you don't know where you're going, if you're off the main highway there. But some other things that we want to report. It was announced late last week, and we had it in the paper on Saturday. We have not told you about it here on our TV audience yet, is that our current congressman that serves both Jackson and Vinton counties, his name is Brad Wenstrup. He is the Republican congressman. He's, for the most part, he's lived in Cincinnati since he's been congressman, but he recently moved to Hillsborough. There is Brad Wenstrup there. Now, he is a veteran congressman who has actually been serving since 2013. However, he is new to Jackson and Vinton counties this year because, of course, they redrew the congressional lines, the legislative lines, and instead of being in the 6th district and being represented by Congressman Bill Johnson, Jackson and Vinton counties were represented by Brad Wenstrup. Actually, Vinton County was represented by Steve Stivers the last couple of years before he left to join the Chamber of Commerce, and Mike Carey ended up taking his place. He was elected to take his place. But Congressman Wenstrup, to get to the story now, announced on Twitter a week ago Thursday that he was not going to run for re-election. Now, I want to make clear he's going to finish his term. He just got elected to a new 2-year term in the 2022 election, and he is in the first year. He's about ready to complete the first year of that 2-year term, and he will continue through the end of the term. But he has said that he is basically stepping down. His main reason for stepping down is he does have a young family. He's got a wife and 2 children that are both under the age of 11. And of course, when you're being a congressman, you're away a lot, you're busy, you're traveling around the district. Of course, you're in Washington, D.C. a lot. He wants to be able to spend more time with his family. He is 65 years old. Before he was a congressman, he was a surgeon, a podiatric surgeon. That means works on feet and ankles. And he also has a military background. He actually served in the Middle East as a medical staffer for quite a while too, before he got into politics. Once again, Brad Wenstrup, Republican congressman, has announced that he will not run for re-election in 2024. And it's such a big deal when you run for Congress. You basically have to start your campaign, get your name out there, fundraise very early. And when it's a 2-year cycle, almost as soon as you get elected, you're running again. And so this will open the door to lots of potential candidates. Now, the 2nd Congressional District, just the makeup of it, where it is in southern Ohio, western Ohio, just east of Cincinnati, those counties all along the river, almost all the way to the Ohio River, and then north, I think no farther than, say, Vinton County or Ross County. It is a very Republican-leaning district. As a matter of fact, in the 2020 election, it supported President Trump, who lost, of course, to Joe Biden, though they supported President Trump by 45 percentage point margin. And so Republican candidates would seem to have the best chance at being elected to this again in 2024. But once again, you can probably look for lots of candidates to maybe come forward because, now you're not running against an entrenched incumbent. So both Republicans and Democrats are likely to announce very soon that they may be interested in running for Congress in 2024. All right. We also want to acknowledge this happened at a Jackson School Board meeting, not this last one where, they had the thing for Addie Tilley, but at the meeting before that, the Jackson City School District, the board, had a recognition for their district treasurer, Jared Bunting. Jared has been the treasurer for several years now, and he was honored at the school board meeting in September by a representative from the Ohio Association of School Business Officials, and that is Jared Bunting on the right. He's not from Jackson or Jackson County. I believe he's from Athens County, but he was hired to replace Rachel Strasser, who had been the treasurer here for a while, and he has been doing this now for a couple of years at least. But he is very active in this Ohio Association of School Business Officials, which includes a lot of school treasurers all over the state. Anyway, the young lady who you see in the picture with him is Katie Johnson, who is the Deputy Executive Director of the Ohio Association of School Business Officials. And she came to present this certificate to Jared Bunting to let people in our school district and in the public know that Jared Bunting is very highly thought of at the state level. He received a certificate, which you see there, recognizing his service and contributions to the Ohio Association of School Business Officials and for his unwavering commitment to the Jackson City Board of Education and for his work on what is called a fair funding plan that the Ohio Association of School Business Officials is putting out to the legislature as a way to make sure that schools are funded fully and fairly. So congratulations to Jared Bunting. Also, we want to acknowledge something that happened at Wellston that was very nice as well, and that was a Love for Live benefit. That's what they called it. It was held at the Wellston Middle School last Saturday. Jeremiah Shaver was there, and it was to provide funding to the family of Olivia Liv Montgomery. Liv is a 17-year-old Wellston High School student. I believe she is a junior. And for the third time, she is facing a battle with bone cancer, a bone cancer known as osteosarcoma. And this benefit put together by the community, Teresa Pond LeMaster, who is a member of the Lions Club there in Wellston, and also she happens to be a city councilwoman as well. She helped spearhead this big benefit event that was held at the middle school. They raised a lot of money to help the family there. There was all sorts of things there that they normally have at these fundraisers. They had a dinner. They had a Chinese auction. They had a silent auction. They did split the pot, I think. But anyway, they raised thousands of dollars there for that family. And even if you have insurance, and I don't know what the situation is with the Montgomery family, even if you have insurance, you have a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. Your parents who are working people may have to miss work some, miss out on some compensation. There's all those transportation expenses going back and forth, a lot of out-of-pocket expenses that can really add up. And the Wellston community came through like champs to support Olivia Liv Montgomery. I believe Olivia, there you see her seated there enjoying her dinner. I believe she's a junior there at Wellston High School, and she was one of the attendants for the recent Wellston homecoming dance and weekend that was held earlier this fall. So a story on this Love for Live benefit will be in Saturday's edition as well. All right, before I hand things over to Red, I want to let you know that we're getting very close to the deer gun season. Of course, the deer archery season started back in September, and that will go all the way until early February. But the deer gun season, which of course is very popular, is coming up actually next a week after next, Monday, November 27th until Sunday, December 3rd, and that's the week where you can get go hunting in Ohio on public lands and private lands where you have permission for a whole week. Then there'll be an extra weekend in December. I believe that's going to be December 16th and 17th. That's Saturday and Sunday. However, this weekend there may be some hunting activity because it is the youth gun season. That is limited to hunters who are 17 years old and younger. This weekend, the 18th and the 19th of November, that's Saturday and Sunday. And of course, these young hunters must be accompanied by an adult. So the deer gun season coming up very soon. Also, we want to tell you about two plays this weekend, one in Jackson County, one in Vinton County. The fall play in Jackson is going to be held tonight, Saturday night, and on Sunday afternoon. Of course, Kathy Lord is the director. The fall play is called Puffs, and it features wizards and magic. They can't tell us this because of copyright things, but it sounds a whole lot like a Harry Potter thing. But this play will be at looking through the times here. It will be at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Jackson Middle School auditorium. You can get tickets online, and they also be sold at the door. And then in Vinton County, I know that Red here has talked with Joy Henderson, who does all the plays up in Vinton County with the Viking players, does a great job, as does Kathy down here in Jackson. They're going to do a one-time performance that is going to be in the form of a dinner theater. It's going to be Saturday evening at 7 p.m., and it's going to be a comedy called Order in the Court. And Red, I know you're going to have the opportunity to maybe see a little bit of that this evening.
Yeah, we're going to be up there tonight. They're having a dress rehearsal, so we're going to take a sneak peek. And then after that, the MacArthur Village Council meets tonight at 6 o'clock. So we'll do a double scoop in Vinton County action tonight. It's going to be a busy night as the MacArthur Village Council rescheduled because of a personnel issue with everybody. Everybody's ready to go tonight, so we'll see what MacArthur Council has at 6 o'clock, and then we'll see a great performance from the kids. This is an original play, so it ought to be interesting. It's something we've never seen before, so we'll see what happens there. But it should be a fine night at Vinton County High.
All right. And then talking about live performances, there's going to be one at the Marquee tonight. It's going to be the annual Rock for Tots concert. It's called the Remembering the 60s concert, and it's going to involve the quintet of John Jones, Craig Klein, David Leach, Ben Davis Jr., and John Pelletier. And they're going to be performing some songs from the 60s. And all the money that they raise will go to the Rock for Tots charity. Also, they're going to have the Sonic Rhythm Academy. That's the young group of musicians who is learning music through the Bart Wiseman Foundation. They are going to be performing as well during that concert tonight. That is at the Marquee, and it will start at 7 p.m., and there are tickets available for that. So a lot going on, Red. And there's a lot of Christmas stuff that, we'll maybe talk about next week. A lot of things set up, the Christmas parades and activities are getting all scheduled. And of course, the tree displays in all four communities, Jackson, Wellston, MacArthur, and Oak Hill. We'll try to track down all that information as well.
And, I just wanted to mention real quick, the Rock for Tots was started by Paul Pollard in Chillicothe. He's had it for a long time, but in recent years, they've also brought it to Jackson County, and it's really a great time to reminisce with some music tonight and get out and catch the 60s show. It's very good, and so plenty to do in a small town tonight. Music, plays. There's going to be a good weekend here in the area.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to shift things around a little bit. Dylan is going to come over and talk with Red. Dylan's going to show up from behind the camera and get in front of the camera. And Red, I know you've been so busy in Vinton County, do a great job covering all the news up there, and going to focus on some of the big stories that are taking place there, as well as a reflective event that took place during the football season where one of Vinton County's own had his memory honored. That's going to be a touching story, and I know that we're going to have a nice story that you wrote in Saturday's paper on that, but I won't steal any more thunder from you on that. Dylan, did you want to do the weather or later, or?
Yeah, we can do the weather.
All right, we'll do the weather, and then we'll do the Red and Dylan show right after that.
All right, so on Friday, November 17th, it looks like highs of 62 and lows of 35. On Saturday, November 18th, highs of 51 and lows of 29. On Sunday, we have highs of 56 and lows of 34. On Monday and through the rest of your work week, it looks like it all stays about the same, except on Wednesday, where we get a bit low with, well, the high is a bit lower of 44 and hitting the lowest of 23.
Okay, all right. Temperatures in the 20s. You knew it had to come sometime. All right, well, I will take my leave, and we'll shift around here a little bit, and we'll hear about some of the big stories out of Vinton County that we haven't covered yet.
Okay, during the newscast, I heard from Commissioner Mark Fout, and he wanted me to remind us. Are we on?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. We heard from Vinton County Commissioner in the broadcast. He wanted me to remind everybody about the big Garrett Ridge Water Project. That's certainly one of the stories of the year in Vinton County, a $5.8 million project that the Commissioners and Development Department got funded. Jackson County Water is going to put in water to 24 homes in a very remote area where there's high elevations. The project's underway with Larry Foster and Keith Solomon from the Jackson County Water Company, and we'll update that as it continues. Also, he wanted me to mention that they had 7 fire trucks purchased for the Sheriff's Department. 7 pickup trucks purchased for the Sheriff's Department, and 2 new EMS squads. So, Commissioner, we got that on for you. But what I wanted to talk about was a couple of things, and Pete, he kind of prefaced this. We had a big night in Vinton County, remembering a local hero, Dylan. Marvin Kennedy, a name well known in Vinton County. They had a big ceremony for him at the homecoming game, and he died as a result of a football accident 48 years ago. And we have comments from several people that was involved in that, including Keith Beadle Ward, who wore Kennedy's number 60 jersey on the field that night. Roger Houck, who's the new Vinton County School Board member, he's also the PA announcer for the Viking sports. He read a tribute to Kennedy. Kennedy was born in Nebraska. He came here when he was young, and he just became a great member of the football team. He was injured on the field and died in a Columbus hospital. And they named the old field, the one in the middle of MacArthur, in his honor after he passed away. We have some great insights from a lot of his friends and a lot of his, some of his relatives in the story coming up. It's going to be the lead story on the sports page in tomorrow's edition. And it talks about his parents going to the first game after they named the field after him. It talked about his commitment to Vinton County and how much he loved it there. It's very touching, and it's wonderful that the community remembers him after 48 years. The Vikings left the Marvin Kennedy field in 2000 to go out to Route 50, where they're at now, and they've been out there 23 years. But Marvin Kennedy Field is still used for a lot of youth events, for community activities. The 4th of July alumni football game is there. So they're still used a lot, and still got the PA and the press box and the concession stand, the lights. It's all still there. So this young man was certainly remembered, And we hope you enjoy that feature that we were able to do. It's a nice production by the Vinton County Schools. Current coach T.J. Carper was involved in this. He thought it was important that the community remember Kenny Keith's legacy. So see that on our sports page. And also, speaking of Coach Carper, the football team was recognized at the school board meeting on Tuesday night. It was a long one. It was 4 hours. So there was a lot going on. There was a 2-hour executive session. And the football team was honored for their 9-1 season, for making the playoffs. And Coach Carper spoke to the board. And we have video of that meeting and see what Coach Carper had to say.
Sorry, it takes a moment sometimes. Here we go.
For your support and it's been a long time coming. I think 24 years, and but we couldn't do this without the community support and everybody here. It's an amazing feeling to accomplish this, and I have our coaches that are here with us. Coach Gaines, Coach Phillips, Coach Heyer, Coach Campbell, and Coach Fry. All those guys that are here. This wouldn't be possible without them. They spend a lot of time away from their families and their own kids and their own their own things that they could be doing in their own time. Coaching is a very hard profession because you sacrifice so much for other kids and for other families, and to help them, to help them accomplish things that they want to accomplish in their life and to be who they want to be in their lives. So I really appreciate them. And then, of course, these guys right here, couldn't have done it without these guys, with the players. So I have each and every one of our seniors that are here tonight. These guys, the past 3 years that I've been here, have busted their butts. They've given up a lot too. They've given up, PlayStation sessions with their buddies. They've given up time with their girlfriends. They've given up time from their parents, and their siblings and things like that to be great. And I look at these guys, and I couldn't thank them more for buying into what we were trying to accomplish here. It took us 3 years to get it while we were here, but we got it, and it's a big thanks to these guys for their dedication. So these seniors, they're going to go out TVC champions, and that was a goal that they had for forever. I'm just so happy for them, and I'm just happy for this community to do this and bring this back to you guys. So it's a blessing. And again, I thank each and every one of you guys. So.
You all can stick around after the ball for a little bit. So
Okay.
we do these, or we want to come out and congratulate you all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And to mention that they had to keep their academics.
Oh, yeah.
Where they need to be in order to be eligible
Yeah.
to play. So
Yeah.
that's
That's a big
says
thing.
a lot on and off.
Yes, it
the
does.
field.
I think this year we have 14 kids on our team with a 4.0 during the season. That's it was amazing, man. I remember talking to Miss Snyder, about study halls and things like that. We set up study hall for them after school on Mondays and Wednesdays, and and it was just something that was very important to me. We've actually risen our team GPA by almost a single point, from the time that I started. So it's that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing is seeing them accomplish that. And not only on the field accolades and things like that, but I think we had all 14 of them were all TVC academic, and it's just it was amazing to see. When I added that up, I think I added up last night and looked at it. I was like, it's great, So it's very very heartwarming, and I'm just tickled to death about it.
Congratulations, guys.
Okay, and congratulations to the Vinton County Vikings. It was a wonderful season, and several of the players were named All-District. Garrett Brown, Parker Schomburg, and Aston Allman. and Owen Hire was a defensive selection. We'll have a complete list of all the district winners and from the whole area in the Telegram. I think it's on the telegramnews.com now and in the recent edition. So you can go back and check to see who all was honored, but certainly a great year for the Vikings. Also at the meeting, a state qualifier, Samuel Boyd, who qualified in the state cross-country meet, was honored.
He was on the show here recently, too.
Yeah, he was on the show, and him and Coach Josh Kirkpatrick. And they were also honored by the board as well as the entire boys and girls teams that qualified for the district. As the Vikings qualified as a team and Lady Vikings. So it was just a great year for the fall sports. Very exciting times in MacArthur and Vinton County. And one other quick note from the school board, and then I got a musical announcement to kind of finish this up. Superintendent Rick Brooks announced that the two of the three, and he didn't specify which ones, elementary schools were in the U.S. News and World Report Best Schools in Ohio category. And he is finding out all the information about that and is going to update it at the December board meeting. But that's very good news for the elementary schools. As I said, there's three of them, and two of them made the list, but he didn't specify which two. There's West, South, and Central. So we'll see which two of the three made that list. And on the final thing, Pete mentioned music, and I wanted to plug. We had such a good time over at Scotty's on First in Wellston, and with Jesse Keith Whitley. Just wanted to pass along that more country music is coming there. And this time it's going to be in February, country music lesson, Doug Stone. And Doug Stone became famous for a song that he did in the 1990s, You'd Be Better Off in a Pine Box. And boy, there was a time you just couldn't turn on the radio without hearing that. And he'll be there with Terry McBride, McBride and the Ride. And tickets for that you can check on Scotty's on First, as the live venue brings more entertainment to the area. Again, at the Marquee tonight, the 60 show, and tomorrow night at Vinton County High School with a play, plenty of entertainment, and so get out and enjoy your weekend. And Dylan, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Red. And we appreciate you coming on the show today, helping us out while Jennifer's out for a little bit. Hopefully she'll be back Monday with us. But yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you,
always
sir.
Appreciate it.
And Jennifer, we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.